Hey guys, it's Kevin Matteson. I thought I'd try reaching out with a video this week, and I know you guys had face-to-face time this last weekend, so I heard that went great, and it's been really fun reading the discussions in the workshop so far. Particularly this week, I've really enjoyed all the thoughts about making the city magical when it comes to wildlife and all the difficulties associated with that, the role of zoos in terms of connecting people to nature and how there are some limitations in terms of that. Some great stories about different encounters with wildlife in parks, from red foxes and coyotes to indigo buntings or painted buntings, all different sorts of things. And then also some sort of more negative associations with more like pest species and things like that. So yeah, it's a really good sort of combination of all different stories. I've really enjoyed looking at it. Um, I thought I'd just share a little bit about myself because I haven't had a chance to do this too much, but my research at Fordham University was on community gardens and bees and butterflies in the city. And you guys probably know this, but there's 700 community gardens, over 700 in New York City. Most are created on abandoned lots by neighborhood residents. And they're really unique places. I think in some ways they can be that, to relate to that Aldo Leopold quote, that there can be, well, I'm going to completely paraphrase here, but nature anywhere. And also kind of just magical, interesting places within the city, which was part of why I wanted to study them. Really great places for social and ecological interactions, different people connecting with the landscape for recreational purposes, social purposes, gardening, nutrition, all sorts of things. I must say, in many of the community gardens I worked in, I did see kids in some of them, but a lot of times I did seem more like an adult kind of spot. So, but I know there are some community gardens that really have some great children's programs and things going, which is good for those formative experiences we've been reading about. So I won't get into details here on some of this is straight from a presentation I sometimes give, but I did want to just share a little bit on what I think is a charismatic urban species. There's one of the discussion threads was talking about, flagship species in urban areas, and maybe coyotes could be that, and I'm all for that. But I also like bumblebees, and particularly this is Bombus impatiens is the scientific name. The common name is the northeastern bumblebee. I think you guys can see this, but this is the pollen ball, so you can really see how this female, she's really loaded down with pollen and carrying it from eggplant flower to eggplant and holding on with her mandibles, which is a unique thing they do. You can actually see the bruising on the floral structures from the mandibles in some eggplants, if you look really closely, indicating there was a bumblebee visitor. They sonicate, so they vibrate their wings to get the pollen to shake out. So bumblebees are really important for flowers that have pollen in structures that need shaking to get it to come out. And just a couple other interesting urban residents. This is a leafcutter bee. Megachilidae is the family. They're the ones that make these dime-sized cuts out of bushes in your yard. The leafcutter bees, I'm sure you guys have seen these around, but I think they're really a cool bee. They carry the pollen on the underside of their abdomen, on these hairs here. So if you ever see a bee with a brightly colored belly, it might be pollen, and it might be a leafcutter bee. And then this last one is Ogochlora pura, it doesn't have a common name. If it did, we would call it the resplendent green bee. But they live in rotting wood. They're quite rare as a result in cities because, as you know, most parks and such are manicured and heavily managed. So rotting wood is often not left lying around. All right. Anyway, that was just some things to share for this, just to say hello and put a face to the name and share a little bit about my background. And we'll look forward to interacting more with you all soon.